But joining me right now is our friend, Massachusetts Congressman Seth Moulton. He is a member of the House Armed Services Committee and is a former Marine Corps officer in Iraq. Congressman, welcome. Good to see you. First, your thoughts on what we were talking about there, the removal of the president's name from the Kennedy Center. That is President Trump from President Kennedy Center there. And it happened, of course, we remind our viewers, after a court ruled only Congress can make changes to the center's name.
I mean, it's kind of pathetic that we're at a point in American history where we're celebrating stopping the desecration of a memorial by the current president of the United States. But that's where we are, and it is a victory for the law. It is a victory for democracy, and it's a victory for Congresswoman Beatty, who I'm so proud to serve with. I mean, she put this lawsuit forward after serving on the Kennedy Center board, and as she said, this is a victory for all the citizens of the United States who do not want to see our country desecrated by Donald Trump.
How do you describe the audacity, I mean, if that's what you don't want to call it, of Donald Trump's vanity projects, and how important was this pushback?
I mean, it's incredibly important, and every bit of this is taxpayer dollars wasted. They spent 10 hours, I think, putting up that tarp just so that he wouldn't be ashamed, because he doesn't like the look of having his name taken off the building. Well, that's taxpayer dollars. Just putting the name up in the first place when it should never have ever been there. That's taxpayer dollars. Donald Trump said he was going to grow the economy and save Americans money, but he's just wasting money on his vanity projects. And that's why it's so important that we put this to an end.
Also important, let's move on to the potential agreement to end the Iran war. President Trump just moments ago posting on Truth Social that it is scheduled to be signed tomorrow. The proposal reportedly establishes a 60-day ceasefire, leading to another far more complicated negotiation that could take months. But it would reopen the Strait of Hormuz to global shipping. Does ending the chokehold on the strait alone make this deal worth it?
I mean, no. I mean, this is a terrible deal. It's basically a surrender document from Donald Trump to the supreme leader of Iran. I mean, $100 billion of taxpayer money already put into this war, 14 Americans dead, and we get a deal that just reopens a strait that was already open before he started this stupid war. How is that a win, Alex?
Well, MS Now reports the MOU, as described by a senior administration official, does not achieve several of the president's key war goals, including whether Iran can enrich uranium for its civilian nuclear program, and if there'll be limits on missile production. Also unclear is how and when Iran will be compensated. So when all is said and done, final negotiations, will they get to a place that is tougher with their constraints on Iran than before the war?
I don't think so. I mean, certainly won't be as tough as President Obama had with the Iran nuclear deal that Donald Trump tore up. I mean, imagine if Trump had instead said, I don't love this deal, but I'm going to build on it. I'm going to make it stronger. Instead, again, because of his vanity, he's like, well, I don't like President Obama. So he tore up that deal, trashed it. And now Iran has produced a lot more enriched uranium. They're much closer to a bomb than they ever were under President Obama. And Trump started this war that he's losing. And at the end of it, it doesn't sound like he's going to get even a semblance of a nuclear deal. The deal to reopen the strait, which again was open. It was always open before he started this dumb war. All that says is we're going to start nuclear negotiations. And although you're right that we don't know what this will cost, we're hearing numbers like $24 billion of unfrozen assets. When Obama unfroze just $1.7 billion, Trump and MAGA said that was treason. Now we're giving Iran $24 billion to just start negotiations about the nuclear situation. I mean, this is really pathetic. And of course, that's on top of the $100 billion of U.S. taxpayer money that we've already spent prosecuting this war. So this is just lose, lose, lose across the board for Trump and the United States of America. And yet I will still say that stopping this war and getting out of it is the best that we can do at this point. And so that's why we are still hoping for a deal, even though we have to admit it's a losing deal for America.
But you know the parable about the boy who cried wolf, right? I think it's been 37 times that we have been told deal's about to happen, it's close, just around the corner, whatever it is, whatever verbiage is being used. Do you think this deal for the MOU will happen this weekend? Tomorrow, maybe Monday. Let's give it a little space.
I would be shocked. I mean, my team just told me it was 39, so I don't know if it's 37 or 39, Alex, but it's a lot of times.
I stand corrected, to your point.
Well,
there you
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe your team's got the number right, but I think it was 37 a couple days ago. The bottom line is that Trump has told us countless times there's a deal. It's about to happen. And it really sounds like Donald Trump wants a deal. It sounds like the Iranians are pretty content dragging out negotiations because guess what? They have a stranglehold on the world economy by closing the strait. And all of this is thanks to Donald Trump and a dumb war that's gotten 14 Americans killed, $100 billion of taxpayer dollars wasted, and put us in a worse position against Iran. And that, by the way, is not taking anything away from the fact that Iran is a national security threat to the United States and our allies. So that's why you shouldn't be losing wars to Iran. You shouldn't start wars with Iran that you're going to lose. You shouldn't start wars you don't have a plan to end. And you shouldn't get Americans killed for a losing effort. I mean, this is just an utter disaster for Donald Trump. And it's time for Democrats to really hold him accountable and make him own this massive failure.
I want to pivot to President Trump having nominated Jay Clayton, U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York and former SEC chairman, as Director of National Intelligence after Democrats refused to renew foreign intelligence surveillance powers unless Trump pulled Bill Pulte to lead that agency. So Clayton oversaw cases involving national security threats, of course, but has few intelligence credentials specifically. Is he qualified for the job? Will Democrats support his confirmation to push Pulte out of the acting role and reauthorize FISA?
Well, these are complicated questions. It's a little bit of a complicated picture, Alex, because obviously he's immeasurably better than Bill Pulte, and yet he's still not good enough. I mean, he does not have any national security qualifications. So while I think a lot of people are on Capitol Hill are relieved that Bill Pulte, who's just full and through corrupt, is out, Jay Clayton, who used to have bipartisan support and respect, has most recently distinguished himself by supporting the president's conspiracy theories about the California election, and even supporting his so-called anti-weaponization slush fund to take American taxpayer dollars and pay off the January 6th insurrectionists. So Jay Clayton is not someone that I would ever support, because he may have been a good guy in the past, but that's what he's doing today, supporting election conspiracy theories and supporting this slush fund to pay off January 6th insurrectionists. That is not someone that we should have in charge of our national security. That's not someone we should even trust with a security clearance to begin with.
Donald Trump is facing a wave of criticism after a series of controversies overshadowed what was supposed to be a major weekend for the former president. One of the biggest stories involves the Kennedy Center, where workers removed disengaged connected to Trump following a court order. Critics accused the administration of delaying compliance, while spotting argued the process was complicated by weather and logistical challenges. At the same time, attention has shifted to a high-profile UFC event planned near the White House. Weather forecasts have raised concerns about thunderstorms, extreme heat, and possible disruptions, creating uncertainty around the event. Meanwhile, international headlines continue to focus on negotiations involving the United States and Iran. Reports suggest that the discussions are moving toward a potential framework or agreement. Though many details remain unclear and no final deal has been officially announced, the negotiations have sparked debate among both supporters and critics of Trump. Some argue that diplomacy is helping reduce tensions, while others question whether the emerging framework aligns with the administration's earlier promises, adding to the pressure as reports of growing divisions with Trump's political base. Some conservative commentators or supporters have openly expressed frustration over issues ranging from foreign policy to transparency and government Taken together, these developments have created a difficult news cycle for Trump at a time when he is trying to project strength and momentum heading into future political battles. Whether these controversies have lasting consequences remains uncertain. But one thing is clear: the spotlight remains firmly fixed on Donald Trump, and every major decision continues to generate this intense political debate.